Ooh, we're live.
Nice.
So there's 3 people on right now. So should I say like, please comment?
Say hello.
Yes, Avy. Oh, I could say it. So comment your name in the chat so we know who's in here. Poop. Gustavo, don't put poop, please. Gustavo, don't put poop, please. Oh, this is a weird echo. How do I turn off the sound? Okay. So that's what it looks like for them. So they're able to, and then we could see them on the side. Jasmine's there. And then we could see how many people are viewing, how many people are like spectating. So we have 9 people in there right now. The only like disadvantage is like if we don't know, right? They're
like Jimmy's, for example, is a different one.
Yeah.
So unless
where are you seeing Jimmy?
I saw it on your thing here.
On this.
You put Jimmy, see?
Yeah.
Odd, you whatever.
So then I thought I was going to be able to see the comments here. Unable to connect to chat. Please try again later. Why? Andrew, can you lower the TV, please? Who is ready? So I was able to see it before. Okay. So then maybe we need to.
Because you could see it here, but not on there.
Chat public.
But it was on there.
It was. Huh. Cyan.
You gonna make it?
So why isn't it?
It's paused. Is that why? It says paused right there? Or is that something else?
No, this is the other account I have. So it's on the Wi-Fi. I'm scared if I refresh it, it'll like take me. So cancel. So there's 12 people here. Okay.
Cable's on there too.
Okay. So maybe this is like you have to do this? No, because it was on there. Why you guys up so early? It's not early. It's 1 o'clock.
It's already even past lunchtime.
I know. Okay, so maybe I don't know why it's not showing up there.
Hi everyone.
Hi. So could you guys hear us okay? Could someone comment to let us know that you guys could hear us well? Jasmine says hi. Hi. Who's that though? See?
That's Cyan.
That's Cyan. Okay. Yes. All right. So we wanted to kind of check in on you guys and give you guys a couple updates in regards to the different changes that are going on and how we're going to kind of proceed with school. We'll start with just like general updates as far as like the messages that have gone out to parents and any general questions you guys have. Yeah.
Am I going to mess up? I'm on your keyboard.
Let's do that. So any general questions you guys have in regards to what is going on right now with school or any concerns you guys have.
Everyone's already heard, right? The school is going to be closed. The date they gave us now is May 1st. So we had gotten all these packets before we left on Friday. A lot of you were absent on that last day. So they were made accessible to you on the New Markham webpage, or you were able to go pick them up. But all that work was supposed to be done by this Friday. So moving forward, beginning Monday, we are going to be doing work, and it is going to be going out to you using online platforms.
Yeah. So did you say we're out till May?
Yes.
Yeah, you said that right. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to be out until May 1st. We are going to go over what class is going to look like for each of us. So far for me, you haven't done the packet that you got. I've been posting things online. I'm going to continue to post things online on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then on Friday, you're going to get an Achieve lesson that you are going to have to complete by Monday. I have had a lot of questions in regards to the Ancient Egypt project. The Ancient Egypt project is still due March 30th. It is due online. The project, the written portion is due March 30th. It's due online through the Google Docs that we started in class. The visual part is where it gets a little complicated, and that's the most questions I've gotten is in regards to the visual part. So what we're going to do is you are going to record yourself. And then you're going to upload that recording either on Google. I'm going to play around with Flipgrid a little bit to see what that looks like. You'll get more information on that April 2nd. So by April 2nd, you will get all the information you need in regards to the visual and the presentation. You have to finish the written part by March 30th. That was the original due date. That it's still the due date. What was she supposed to get?
Oh, we supposed to go get it. Cyan, what do you mean? I don't understand your question. How to get what? So while Cyan gets back, just to some of the other questions that a few of you have had is with school closures, up until now, it's May 1st, but we are not going to wait till we get back because we don't know, right, when that's going to happen or if it might not happen at all. We might be having to do the distance learning for the rest of the school year. So pretty much these past 2 weeks, right, like we were still trying to hear and get ready. But beginning Monday, every single assignment is mandatory. If you do not turn them in, what we're posting up on Google Classroom, you will then, your grade is going to be affected because they are going to be going into your grade book. Also, some students were asking about, are they going to have to repeat the grade? That is not the case. Like this school year is continuing. Rather than being in the classroom, sitting down though, face to face, we're going to be doing stuff online, right? So luckily, we already had Google Classroom set up for you. I know in Miss S's class, you've turned in a lot of assignments through Schoology, right? In my class, we didn't really turn in any assignments through Schoology, but that's the way that we're going to be turning stuff in now because we're not going to be seeing each other in person. Someone else had also asked about testing. So the SBAC test have been canceled for this year. We are not going to be having them anymore. So everything that, okay, see, Maria just asked how SBAC testing. So everything that we are going to be teaching you is the material that you should learn. Like, for example, I like you're excited, Nelson. For math, we had left off in statistics, right? Like we did the first lesson. So we're going to be continuing with that and then finishing up the geometry portion. In science, we're going to be finishing up the lesson that we were on about ELISA, and then we're going to be going into our next unit. So we are going to be picking up where we left off in class. Again, the difference being that we're doing mostly everything online.
Yeah. Same with English. We're going to still use StudySync for our lessons, we're going to do Unit 3 in Study Sync, which is Ancient Realms. So that connects with our history content. So everything you read about is going to have to do with an ancient civilization. It's not necessarily going to have to do with Egypt anymore, but it will have to do with some ancient civilization, whether it's Greek or Rome or India or China. You will be accessing all your assignments through Google Classroom, in the sense that I'm going to be posting a description of the assignment. And that description is going to tell you to either go on YouTube and watch a video, or go on Schoology and submit a discussion or a quiz, or go onto Google Classroom and submit an assignment through Google Classroom. So what I mean by them all being posted onto Google Classroom, it means that the description of the assignment is going to be on the thread, and then that description is going to tell you what to do.
And that's how we're both going to be communicating with you. So you must be checking your Google Classroom, because that's how we're going to let you know what's due, when it's due, and what the steps are that you need to follow to ensure that you're completing your assignments.
So, Andrew, you asked about period 4, sorry. Any of you students that have me for ELD class, the structure is going to be the same. You're going to have an assignment on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's going to be, the description of the assignment is going to be posted on Google Classroom. And then you're either going to go onto Achieve, onto Google Classroom itself in the materials tab, or onto Schoology to complete that assignment. For those of you that have had me all year, which is all of you on here, I believe, you guys know how to go onto Google Documents to start a new document and share it with your teachers. You know how to go on to Schoology to submit a discussion and an assignment. You also know how to go onto Google Classroom to submit a discussion or an assignment. So I don't foresee that being an issue. But if you have any technical issues with it, just send a message to us and we'll get back to you with either an explanation or a description of what it is you need to do.
So the platforms or the websites that you need to make sure that you're accessing are the New Markham webpage, because you're going to be getting announcements from Mr. Kim and the different administrators about things that are going on at Markham in general. You need to make sure that you're going on to Schoology, because you need to be checking your grades. And also that is where my assignments are going to be mainly given to you from. So you are going to be given cool downs for the lessons for math, and they are going to be on Schoology. And for science, you're also going to be getting a question that will be due on Fridays, and it's also going to be on Schoology. But again, everything will be on Google Classroom, so that you know that that's where you need to go to complete the assignment.
So right now, what I want you guys to do is to just comment with any questions that you have. We'll go through and answer all your questions. I'm going to go back to the top to make sure we didn't miss anything. We were trying to look at the questions as we were talking, but I think the best thing's going to be is just for us to give you a quick little blurb and then answer your questions all together. So I have Abel asked how we're doing.
Good. Thank you, Abel.
Yes. So we're doing good. Our kiddos are playing on a swing right now. And we're here planning for you guys. But we're doing good. We're healthy. Cyan, the packet that you got on the last day, that's the packet that Ms. Venegas was talking about, where that was for 2 weeks. So it's done, right?
I need you to not worry about that anymore, right? Like, that was supposed to be done until this Friday, right? So you weren't at home not doing anything. And I want you guys to understand that going forward, right, everything that we start assigning you beginning Monday is going to be affecting your grade. So you need to make sure that you're submitting everything beginning Monday, because we're going to be continuing with the lessons, right, where we left off in class. So it's very important that you guys participate in everything, because it is going to be going into your grade book. So at this point, whether you got the packets or not, or you completed some of the work on there or not, don't worry about it, right? Beginning Monday, everything that we assign you needs to be done, or your grade will start dropping.
Nelson asked earlier, do we have to finish it all by March 30th? You have to finish the written portion by March 30th. The pyramid and the social class pyramid and the map, that one you have to do and then take a picture of it and then insert it, just like we learned in class how to insert pictures onto Google Docs. If you have any technical difficulties with that, let me know. But yes, the written portion is due Monday. I am going to give you guys directions on what that visual presentation is going to look like on April 2nd. Why don't we wait until school is back?
And I think that was Jimmy. And I think I already answered that, right? Like at this point, it's a month out, right? Pretty much that they gave us, and we're not going to be for a month without doing any work. If you guys had the mentality, right, of this is vacation, get that out of your head, right? Because we are going to be working and you are going to continue your learning. So that is why.
Okay. Cyan, you are not picking up any other packets going forward, just to clarify. Nelson, you are submitting the Ancient Egypt assignment on Google Docs. And then I'm going to create an assignment on Google Classroom where you're going to attach your Google Doc to. I'll put a full description of that on Google Classroom tonight. What about the ICA? Jasmine?
We are not going to be doing any more testing on the CASP website. If you are going to be doing testing, it's going to be testing that I make up for you as part of your assignments for the grade, which would be towards the end of the unit. And like how we usually have a quiz towards the middle, you will get a quiz towards the middle. And then at the end of the unit, you'll get a test. But it'll be one that I make up for it to be on your grade. It's not going to be on the CASP website.
SBAC testing, we already discussed a little bit. It's canceled this year, so you don't have to worry about state testing. And Nelson was very excited about that. Yeah. Jasmine, next year during 7th grade, it's going to be difficult. I'm not going to like sugarcoat it for you. It's going to be a little challenging because we are at a school, right? So we're missing this time for face-to-face instruction. What I could tell you to try to reassure you is if you keep up with the online assignments that me and Ms. Venegas give to you, it'll be less challenging because you'll continue to learn and you'll continue to practice the skills that you need for 7th grade. If you feel anxious about it or stressed out about it, let one of us know and we can put something together for you to kind of continue to practice. So send us like a private message and then we could give you more information or give you some more strategies or tips on how to kind of cope with that stress for 7th grade. We have a lot of stuff to do. Nelson, we do have a lot to do, but think of it this way. You're typically in school for 8 hours. And you're in classes, like academic classes, for 6 of those 8 hours, or at least 5.5 of those 8 hours. So you will have to dedicate, and I kind of broke it down for you guys. You should be working about 4 hours a day on schoolwork, whether that's in math, whether that's in English, science, or history, or any of your other classes. You should put aside 4 hours out of your day to do classwork. You should be able to monitor that in your own day. Nevaeh was saying it's too early. She wakes up around 1 or 2. Then you need to set aside from 2 to 6, those 4 hours to work on your classwork. So it is a lot of stuff, but it's not unreasonable. You have enough time to do it. Andrew, period 4 is going to work the same way. You're going to get assignments. I think I already said this, twice a week. You are going to go to Google Classroom and all the details on those assignments are going to be on there. Abel said, I think we should lesson like this.
On YouTube, he means?
On YouTube. So if you guys enjoy this like format where we're kind of talking to you guys and you guys are commenting, if you feel like it would be good for a lesson, go ahead and comment that so we could like record how many of you guys like it. If you do not like this, comment that too so that we could also keep that in mind. Nevaeh doesn't wake up until 12.
The people that have electives, Jasmine, your teachers for those electives should be reaching out to you because they should also be setting up a Google Classroom or some way of communication with you because all teachers have been instructed to do so. So you should be hearing from your teachers for those electives on what you need to do.
And it's a source of anxiety for you guys. Like if you're really freaking out because me and Miss Venegas have been giving you work and you haven't heard from other teachers, you could go on the New Markham website and you could get the teacher's email address and you could send them a respectful email saying, hi, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so. I was wondering, do we have any work or when we're going to start doing some work? And then you could kind of get a more direct answer from your teacher. I don't guarantee that they're going to respond or that what their response is going to be, but it could be a little bit more proactive on your end too.
Someone said this is so challenging. I forgot where I read it.
This is so complicated. I wish we could, Nelson.
So Nelson, just think about it like this too. When you go to college, a lot of your classes will be online. So you're kind of getting like a head start, right? And like where things are going to be going and getting some practice. And it's like a learning process for all of us, right? Because just as much as you haven't done online classes, like I've never had to teach an online class. So you heard us kind of when we started setting up, we're like, well, this is where you can see this, right? Like Miss Tess was showing me, because especially like YouTube, I've never posted something on there, right? A video or anything like that. So it is a learning process and we're going to be asking you for a lot of your feedback, right? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is there something else that we can use, right? To stay in contact and give you the best instruction that we can without being in the classroom.
We're both doing this, right? Everything's going to be described on Google Classroom.
Yes.
Post.
Yes.
Yeah. So me and Miss Venegas are both going to put all your assignments as a description on Google Classroom. That description is going to tell you what you need to click on or where you need to go to do the assignment. It might be on Google Classroom, but it's not always going to be. And I think Miss Venegas said most of her stuff is going to be on Schoology as far as the assignments you need to turn in. And we're going to keep it relatively consistent where the majority of my stuff is also going to be on Schoology and some of it's going to be on StudySync.
But again, the instructions and the assignments will be posted in Google Classroom with steps. Like I'll say step 1, read something. Step 2, do something else, right? Like they'll tell you. And then the last step would be like answer the cool down in Schoology. And then when you go to Schoology, you'll see it as an assignment. Okay. So again, we're trying to put all the steps in one location so it's not too confusing.
This one's for you from Sayan.
Is the cool down going to be on what we learned? Yes, the cool down will be just like we did in the classes. You will have the lessons. And I'm trying to set up like Google Slides for you so you can go through the lessons, right? And I will try to link on there some videos and things that will be helpful. But the cool down will be based on the lesson and what you learned in that lesson.
Nelson, you asked about the Ancient Egypt project. Again, I don't know if I already answered, but the written portion is due March 30th on Google Docs. I will be sending out something April 2nd, giving you a description of how I want you to do the presentation part of it.
Jimmy, we are going to do work for 4th period. And I will actually be setting up a separate Google Classroom because I never set one up for 4th period. So thank you for asking, because a lot of you are already in my 5th period and my 2nd period. So you will be getting an email asking you to add one for 4th period, which is the math tutoring class. And you will have assignments through there, but it's going to be to help you review mainly for our regular math assignment. It won't be anything crazy or out of this world.
Okay. And then Nevaeh, you will have to film a presentation for your ancient. That's perfect. Leave it on.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah. My face looks better. Nevaeh, you will have to film yourself giving the presentation for the visual portion. And then that's what's going to be turned in for credit on the visual portion or the presentation portion of your Ancient Egypt project. This is a great time to work on that visual part of the Ancient Egypt project. For those of you that weren't planning on doing it or were kind of behind, you're at home now. So it's a good time to take advantage of the time you have with your parents or your siblings and work on that. It gives you something to keep you busy. But again, I will send that information out April 2nd. So do not worry about the presentation part until April 2nd. The written part is due March 30th.
What is the road to college?
Emmanuel, could you tell us more on the road to college, please? Or link something down below so we could understand what you're talking about?
It'd be more simple. Cool. Are we still going to Zoom? He likes Zoom better.
Yeah. We're going to try a mixture of both. And we're going to get into like our office hours and how we're going to check in with you guys in a little bit once we answer your guys' questions.
Nevaeh, stop it with that comment. Can I use a filter? No.
Nevaeh, you're like the best photo bomber. Like every picture I have in the classroom, you're somehow in the background like this.
So Nelson said, do you think tomorrow is a good time to start or when? Are you referring to the Egypt project or are you referring to the lessons in general? I'll answer for the lessons in general, right? With this whole new platform beginning Monday. Okay. Which is what date? Monday?
The
30th. So March 30th on Monday, you will start seeing assignments being posted for Miss S and for me on your Google Classrooms with steps on what you need to do. Okay, and the due dates will be on there and the steps on where you need to go to complete the assignments would be on there. So again, everything on Monday that we assign you is a must to turn in or it will be a 0 in your grade book.
Yeah. Nelson, should you start the Ancient Egypt project on Monday? You can. Cyan said she doesn't know how to film herself. YouTube is a great platform to film. You could make the videos private and then you could send me a private link so only I could access them if you want. I'm also going to play around. That's why I'm waiting on the visual presentation or the filming part, because I'm going to play around with the program called Flipgrid, which is more student friendly. Don't stress out about it. We're going to figure out a way that works for everyone. I'm going to give you guys multiple options to film yourself. And then I tend to do like a lot of YouTube videos showing you how to use things. So if you're stuck with anything, I will send you a video to show you. It could be a video of myself doing it or a video that someone else made to do it.
So like if you haven't already seen it, like I know for my assignments, I was asking you to take a picture and upload it onto Google Classroom. And a lot of you were struggling with that, right? And Miss S uploaded YouTube videos on there that showed you like step-by-step what to click. So make sure if you are stuck, go check on the materials section because Miss S has already put a few videos on there that will help unstick you from whatever we're asking you to do. And again, you need to ask us questions, right? Because if you're just not turning stuff in because you don't know how to do something and we don't know that's what's happening, we can't help you, right? So you need to make sure that you send us a message, either one of us, so that we can help you as best we can. You know, we don't want the technology piece to be the reason for you not submitting something.
Yeah. So right now in the chat, I see that there are 12 people on, 11 because I'm also on my phone. But we have 60 of you guys all together. So it's really concerning to know that 50 of you guys, not you because you're on, but 50 of your classmates are not on here. And this is very important information. I know you guys talk to each other on your own time. Please make sure you're getting the message out to the folks that are not turning in their assignments or joining the Zoom chats that Ms. Venegas has done, or even on YouTube Live, because it's going to get harder and harder to keep up with everything that's changing if you're not joining us in these conversations and asking the questions that you have. Emmanuel, yeah, please go on and see if Michael or Jonathan, they're usually playing Fortnite, if they could come on and join us so that they could also have this information. Thank you, Emmanuel. So moving on to like more general things, before you leave the chat, just in case you want to get off now, make sure you put your name on, because this is how we're going to track who was on here. We're going to go back through the messages and we're going to see who was on the live chat with us. There's a chicken in Jasmine's house. And so it's going to start becoming like participation credit. Like these are no longer going to be optional. You're going to have to do them. And if you don't, you're going to lose participation points, which is really going to affect your grade, because you're only going to get 1 or 2 grades a week. So if you miss half of the points because of participation, that's really going to affect you. All right. Do you want to talk about like the technology portion, getting the Chromebooks, the Wi-Fi, all that stuff?
Yes. So we've already kind of posted some of this stuff on Google Classroom, or if you've already been to the New Markham webpage, you've seen. So the school is giving technology to all those students that do not have it. So if you do not have a computer that you can use at home to do your work, you need to go to the New Markham webpage or to the Google Classroom, because I've linked it on there, to fill out the form and request, what is it? Either an iPad or a Chromebook. You need to fill out that form because you can't just show up to the school to pick it up. They need to get it ready for you. When you pick it up, in there, there's going to be a sheet. That sheet is going to have a phone number on how to reach Spectrum, because they are offering free internet for people that do not have internet in their homes. But there is a process that you need to go through, right? Like there is an application process. So you are going to need your parents' help, right? In getting that done. If you are stuck and have any questions, or your parents are struggling, please reach out to us so that we can help you, right? Ms. S or I, because you need to have internet access in order to be able to do all these assignments, right? If you don't have internet or a Chromebook or an iPad or something to do it on, it's going to be very difficult. I know a few of you are doing this on your phone, and that is also not ideal, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have been working from your phone, you want to make sure you go to school to pick up a Chromebook. So make sure you fill out that application.
Yeah. For those of you that already have like an iPad or a Chromebook or whatever technology, other than a phone, but you're struggling with the internet, right? Because it's kind of obsolete to have an iPad or a computer and then not have internet to go with it. We will post, did they give us a flyer on the internet part?
Yeah, the flyer.
Did you post it already?
So, well, I didn't know at this time because I found out today.
Yeah.
So the flyer will be inside, and I'll actually post a picture of it on the Google Classroom because I did get a link. So I'll post that today for anyone that needs it. Okay.
Which brings me to like, it's really important that you guys keep on checking the New Markham website, because that's where the school is going to post all their information. Also check your Google Classrooms regularly for all your teachers, those of you that were talking about electives, just in case they've posted something or they need you to do something. Make sure that you're constantly checking. If your parents want to get in contact with me or Ms. Venegas, send us a private message with the best number to reach your parents at through Google Classroom. They could also, if any parents are joining us, they could also add themselves as a guardian on Google Classroom, and they could have access to Google Classroom along with you so that they know everything that's going on too, because we're going to try to give you guys the most.
Is linked right next to our name.
Yeah.
So they have a way to reach us through email or through you, right? Sending us a message on Google Classroom for any questions they might have.
Yes.
Do you want to tell them that we're going to do this as the check-in time, kind of like they do too?
So I know some of you guys like or prefer Zoom. What I like about Zoom is that everyone could kind of talk with each other. It's more of a conversation than just a video. We are going to have like our student check-in hours on Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 11 a.m. We are going to post those check-ins on Google Classroom, just like your assignments. It's going to be another like post, and it's going to say Monday check-in on, and it's going to give you either YouTube or Zoom. to go on, and then it's going to give you the information you need to access it. Miss Venegas did that when she did the Zoom, so it's going to look just like that if it's on Zoom. I did it for the Google live stream or the YouTube live stream, so it's going to look just like that if we're on YouTube. But it's going to be Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 11.
And this is the time that you want to ask us any questions, right? So that we can help you. It's kind of like our face-to-face interaction, right? Any help that you need for any of your subjects, that's when you want to take advantage to ask us, because we can do the work, demo, show you here on YouTube, or get a whiteboard and walk you through the process, right? In guiding you through steps. So make sure you take advantage of that, right? Because it's a little difficult sometimes to show you those steps on Google Classroom as an announcement. So that's where we're get to be able to interact a little more.
For your parents, we're also going to have like office hours. You guys know us pretty well, and you know that we're always available for you guys and your parents. But the official office hours for your parents, for me, are going to be Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. So if they need to talk at any point, that's going to be when I'm going to be available to talk. However, unofficially, you guys know that I'm always available for you guys and your parents. And if they need to talk at 7 o'clock in the morning or at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm always here for you guys. But just make sure you send me a private message through Google Classroom with the most up-to-date phone number so that I could contact them through that phone number. I get the Google Classroom notifications on my phone. So I'm able to, and Miss Venegas is too. So whenever you send us a message,
we get it right away
to check it right away, and we could contact your parents that way. So officially my hours are Monday through Friday from 2 to 3, which would be my regular conference period. And Miss Venegas's hours are
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays from 12 to 1. Okay. I'm trying to think, did we forget to tell them anything else?
I don't think so. If you guys are having issues with any of the following platforms, please let us know so we can figure out what's going on. So if you're not able to get onto the Markham webpage, the new Markham webpage, let us know. If you're not able to log on to Zoom for whatever reason, let us know. If Schoology is a problem right now, let us know. If you're having issues with Google Classroom, let us know. Any issues with YouTube, if you're not able to access YouTube, I know Nelson had an issue commenting before and we were able to walk through that. Let us know. And then Schoology and Achieve. So if you're having any issues logging on to Schoology and Achieve, let us know. What else? I think that's it.
I'm trying to think too. I think that's it. Yeah. Are there any other questions that you want to talk about? I know we gave you a bunch of information right now, and we will go on Google Classroom and we will post kind of on there like the platforms you should be checking out, right? We also put on there what our hours are for our office hours for your parents to reach us, right? And we'll also put on there like what days and times we're either going to be on Zoom or YouTube, just so you can kind of plan around, you know, what we're going to be doing together or when to make time to speak to us or ask any questions.
And those check-in times, those Zoom times, Mondays and Wednesdays, it's an hour and it's just to do this. It's not necessarily to teach a lesson. It's not going to be a lesson. It's going to be just a quick check-in. It's going to be up and going and there might be no one on, right? And then you might come on and say, hey, Miss, I have a quick question about something that we did this week. It's not going to be a continuous video with lessons or information. It's just going to be a check-in, like a one-on-one or like a couple of you guys with us check-in. And we will be doing those together for the most part. We're going to be doing those together. We're going to try our best to do them together. Student check-in. What else are we going to post? Internet flyer, office hours, student check-in.
I think that's it.
That's it.
The online flyer, the
internet flyer, Google Classroom. To get a Chromebook, you could submit the application online, I was told. You could also go pick one up at the grab and go
breakfast time.
breakfast time between the hours of 10 to 7 or 11 to 7? No, 7 to 11.
I don't know the exact times.
I don't know the times either, but I know it's like a small window. I recommend you call or ask before you go because I know they want to limit the amount of people at school at one time.
Some of the Google Classroom assignments that this has to be accessed by an authorized user.
Oh, so sometimes like because we're using our and I think this is what you're referring to. If you're on Google Classroom without your LAUSD Gmail, like if let's say you access a Google document, but it's not through your LAUSD Gmail, it'll say that you're not an authorized user. Anytime you guys are accessing anything, with the exception of YouTube, make sure you're on your LAUSD email because it could restrict your access. Because I use my LAUSD email for everything. A lot of the times it says only people who have at LAUSD.net are able to access it. Yeah. So if you're using another email, I know my computer automatically signs me into my personal Gmail and I have to log out of that and log back in with my LAUSD email. It might prohibit your access to certain things. And I think, Abel, that's what you were talking about. What does that mean? What does what mean? Does anyone else have any questions while I'm waiting to figure out what Abel is asking? Oh, spring break. That's a good one. You wanna?
So also, the schedule for the school year, right, is kind of the same. Like we're still planning to end on the same date. So spring break is still scheduled for the same time. So that means the week of April 6th through April 10th, it was our scheduled spring break. You will be on break for that week, meaning we are not going to give you assignments that week. You can still ask us questions and just check in general about life, right? Like, hey, how's it going, right? But other than that, you are not going to be getting any assignments to turn in. You do get that week off. Again, that's April 6th through the 10th. And we'll make sure to put a blurb on Google Classroom to remind you, right, that there aren't assignments due that week because it is spring break time.
Also, Jasmine had a question about summer break, and I think Jimmy also had the same question in the Google Forms. For those of you that submitted the Google Forms, I graded them and gave them back to you guys. And I gave you specific, it was called feedback, but I
added feedback to some too. Yes,
me and Miss Venegas went through and we like answered your questions. So go into your Google Forum and look at the feedback that you got because those are answers to the question. Those are answers to the questions that you guys had. For a summer vacation, at this point, like Ms. Venegas said, the school year schedule has not changed. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to change. But right now, all we know is that we're out until May 1st. We're going to be doing distance learning, which is what this is called. So we're going to be teaching you guys from our homes to your homes. And spring break is the same. Summer break is the same as we know right now. All other holidays that you would have had for the rest of the school year are the same. So don't worry at this point about that. But if we get updated, when we get updated, we'll let you guys know what that looks like. Nevaeh, what do you mean? Where's that? Where's what? And then Abel, I'm not sure. I still don't know what you were asking about. But while we wait for them, is there anyone else that has any other questions? That's it. Mary Rose A. Could you reply with your name? The Google Form, Nevaeh, is the assignment that I posted on Google Classroom for Tuesday. It's due today at midnight. Nevaeh, you filled yours out already. So if you go back in and you click on it, it's going to give you your assignment with feedback on it. So that's our answers to your questions. Anytime I give you a Google Form with just a check-in, because I know some of us don't like to comment publicly, and some of us don't want to ask through Zoom. Me and Miss Venegas are both going to have access to those Google Forms. And there's always going to be that, do you have any questions for Miss Schnabeliger? Do you have any questions for Miss Venegas, or any questions in general? Mary.
Yeah.
And we're going to respond to those questions so that you have those answers too.
Are we getting work on weekends was the question. I am going to be posting assignments up either Sunday night or Monday in the morning, like early in the morning. You are supposed to complete the cool downs for those lessons on the day that that lesson is scheduled. So you should have a math cool down on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you're going to be turning in assignments on those 3 days for math. For science, I am going to post up on Monday or again Sunday night the work, and it's going to be due by Friday. So you're going to kind of work at your own pace, right, to get it done. I really suggest that you work on it all week and don't wait till Friday to try to do your work for all of our classes, because then the quality is going to be really bad, right? And you're going to be missing points because you're not going to be getting a good grade for your work. So again, I'm putting stuff up either Sunday night or Monday morning, right? So you can have all week to work on science. And then I expect work submitted Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for math.
Yeah. So for me, it's going to stay the same. You're going to have work Tuesday, Thursday. I might post it up Monday. I might post it up Sunday. What I would look at is I always put the date on the top, assignment 4, and then I put the date. So it's due the next day at midnight. So if it's assignment for Tuesday, it's due Wednesday at midnight. If it's an assignment for Thursday, it's due Friday at midnight. Your Achieve assignments, I'm going to post them up probably Thursday night or Friday morning, and they're due Saturday at midnight. So any assignment I give you is going to be due the next day at midnight, the next day of the assignment date. I'm going to try to post them as early as possible so you guys have as much time to do them as possible. But it's up to you guys. And that's why I said, like, overall, you should set aside about 16 hours a week to do schoolwork for 4 classes. You should be setting aside about 4 hours per class, 3.5 hours per class. And however you decide to do that is up to you, but just know that the expectation is that you're working on schoolwork for 3.5 hours a day, 4 hours a day. That's the expectation. So that's the amount of work you're going to have. You're going to have a work amount for 3.5 hours a day, not from each teacher, from me and Miss Venegas together.
Yes.
So you might have an hour for me, an hour for Miss Venegas, and maybe like 30 minutes each for science and history.
And then just to make sure, the only times that are almost like non-negotiables, right, that you need to be available for are those Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 11 to do kind of like what we're doing right now, that interaction where you can ask us questions and we try to answer them as best as possible.
Yeah.
That time and days aren't changing, and they're going to happen again through this YouTube Live or through Zoom.
Mm-hmm. And then what I really like about YouTube Live, and I think with Zoom too, is YouTube Live, it stays on the channel. So you're able to go back to this video at any point and rewatch it, or have your parents watch it because they might have the same questions that you had. For the folks that weren't able to join us, they could go back and rewatch it, but it's already at 50 minutes. So they would have to watch 50 minutes worth of content to get maybe an answer to one question. And I think that's why it's best that you're here for the lessons than banking on the fact that you're going to be able to rewatch them later, because you might have a question that no one else had and it wasn't answered. So although the only required hours are going to be those Monday, Wednesday hours, anytime that we're doing anything with you guys, as far as like YouTube Live or Zoom, I really strongly recommend that you guys join.
Nevea asked, so we have 2 days to do assignment. I want you to make sure you're checking Google Classroom on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. That's my best advice to you, right? Like when you wake up and you're ready to do your schoolwork, like check Google Classroom, because again, it's like showing up to school, right? That is like your school platform now. Google Classroom is how we're going to get messages to you, the latest news on what we know that's going on, right? Because a lot of stuff we're kind of waiting to hear news on, right? Just as you are. So get into the habit from now on, right? Check your Google Classroom every morning and make that like weekdays, right? Like I don't expect you to go on there Saturday and Sunday, but like Monday through Friday, that should be like what you do. Check your Google Classroom to see if there's any announcements for our classes.
Is there any other questions before we wrap up? So Jasmine said she's going to be late every day. She wakes up from 12 to 1. That's fine. Like Nevaeh was saying earlier, just set your own schedule, right? Like we're at a point right now where you guys need to be really responsible and really independent. And that's for you guys and us too as teachers, right? Because me and Miss Venegas are home with our kids. So we need to set aside time every day to make sure that we're being responsible and we're keeping up with the assignments and the things that we need to do. So Jasmine, if your school starts at 1 and it's from 1 to 4 or 1 to 5, then that's your choice, right?
Just make sure you're available on those Zoom or YouTube live days.
Yeah, put an alarm.
A little earlier.
I wake up at 6 a.m. Emmanuel. Can I also post random pictures of chickens at random times on Google Classroom for Miss S's class? So that's something that, like, because we aren't at school and we want to make sure that we're keeping things professional, right? As students and as teachers, like I'm not going to be showing up. Well, my hair is kind of crazy right now, but I'm not going to be showing up in my pajamas, right? Like to try to give you guys a lesson. So as far as like posting random things on Google Classroom, let's keep it professional and let's make the best choices with that. There was one student already who was muted on Google Classroom because they could not stop sending silly messages. So Jasmine, you could have 1 picture a week. That's my limit, okay? Just for Jasmine, no one else. 1 picture of a chicken a week. Any other questions? She said yes. No questions?
Going once. Just kidding.
3 times. Okay, so I don't think we have any more questions. I strongly encourage you guys to reach out to your peers, to your classmates, and tell them to start getting it together, as I would say in class. They should start joining in on these conversations. Our first check-in is going to be on Monday from 10 to 11, whether that's on Zoom or YouTube. We don't know, but we'll post that. So make sure you kind of like check in on them and make sure that they're okay. We're required to take note of students who are not checking in with us. And then if that's the case, you're going to end up getting a phone call home saying that you haven't been on top of your work. So this is going to be considered our first check-in. We're going to take note of all the students that were on this conversation, so that we know that you are consistently checking in on with us. But if it becomes like an issue, it's kind of like being absent from class for a week. Anytime you're absent from class for a week, we call home to make sure everything's okay. So that's going to end up happening, right? So if you're not checking in with us, we're going to end up having to call home and see what's going on and why you're not accessing Google Classroom. And if it's an issue of access, like you don't have internet, then let's make sure that you get the information that we're going to post through the flyer onto Google Classroom. And let's make sure you get a Chromebook so that you could have technology at home.
I also wanted to add that for Zoom, right? A lot of students were saying that we're struggling to get on. So I found that the easiest way to do it is for me to provide you like with the meeting ID and the password. So I probably won't be putting the link on there anymore on, Google Classroom with all that other writing, just to make it very easy. You just need to go to the Zoom, right? Webpage, and then click join a meeting, and then put in the, meeting ID and password so that you can access it. I would like everyone to create an account for themselves because that way we can see your name.
And invite. Yeah.
Yeah. So that way it'll be easier for us to see like who's talking, what the questions are, right? And again, you don't need to put the camera on if you don't want people to see you, but we can still hear you.
Yeah.
Right?
With Zoom, I was going to say something. I'm going to try to find a video that explains how to create an account on Zoom and how to join meetings on Zoom. So stay, be on the lookout for that. I'll put it under our classroom materials, and it'll just be, the topic will be Zoom. And then I'll have a couple links to videos like showing you how to navigate certain things, like how to use the annotation tools, which is going to come in handy when we do ELA. And how to just access a meeting and how to, just navigate Zoom. I think Google or YouTube live stream is pretty self-explanatory. You just go on, start commenting, and you're here. Do you want to discuss this real quick?
No, I think
okay.
we should just post it. Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So if you haven't already, make sure you put your name in the comments. We're going to go through the comments and we're going to find all your names, and that's how you're going to get credited for being here. Andrew, I see your name. Thank you. And it's also your username, so thank you. Any last questions before we leave? I really like the students whose usernames is also their first and last name. It just makes it simple, right? Like Jasmine, Lonel, Jimmy, Andrew. They have their name as their username. I would suggest you go on and change that so that it just makes it easier, right? You don't want to be missed and you spent an hour here with us, and then you don't get credit for it. So like Emmanuel, Lonel, Jasmine, Andrew, Jimmy, you guys have your first and last name as your username. I would go in there and change it for those of you that don't have it. Jasmine, you're good. Anyone else? Questions? Mariana, is your middle name Rose? Mary Rose. Rose. Nevaeh. Did you get Nevaeh?
Yeah, I got Nevaeh on there.
Okay. So far, these are the students that we have on our list as being here before we log off. Jasmine, Emmanuel, Jimmy, Sergio was here earlier, but Sergio, I have not heard from you this whole chat. So if you're still here, make sure you comment your name so you get credit for being here. Cyan, Nevaeh, Mariana, Nelson, Abel, Lonel, and Andrew. These are the only ones that I have on my list. So these are the only ones who are getting credit for being here. Sergio, if you're still on, comment with your name so that I know you were here the whole time. So I think that's going to be consistent too. Comment at the beginning and comment at the end so that we know you were on for the whole video and not just for the last 5 minutes. Okay. Emmanuel, do you have them? Gustavo? Gustavo, comment so that I know you're still on. Who is this? Do we know who that was?
That's Jimmy. He changed his username.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Are you sure? End.